Alright, good dog, good dog, good dog. Hey, what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario. Welcome to another episode of Thrifty Gaming Pickups with my dog here, Lily, being all good, sitting properly, all that fun stuff. This here is episode 41. Episode 41. And in case you do not know, this is a series that I like to do with my dog here, Lily, in which I like to go out to game shops, thrift shops, garage sales, maybe some online deals as well too, and I show you all what I've added to my gaming collection and the deals, well, at least the good deals I think that I found. So let's go ahead and get into this episode here. Let's go ahead, do what we normally do, and sit down and hang out here with Lily. So, Lily, move your butt. What are you doing? I'm trying not to show you all her butt. Anyways, here we end up getting some accessories, we got some games, we even got a system. So let's go ahead and move from left to right. How about that? So first of all, I end up going to a half-price books, 2 of them actually, and I'm a fan of half-price books, alright? I always say this in these episodes, but if you got a half-price books, or you're near one, or you end up seeing one, go there, check out their games. Don't really sleep on their game section, and check out their clearance area as well too, because they were having a week-long sale in which they gave out some coupons, and every single day the coupons ended up going up in value. And you could go there every single day if you wanted and use a different coupon, but the only day I ended up going was the day they had 50% off of one item. So let's take a look at the items I ended up getting here. First of all, I end up getting Breath of Fire 3 on the PSP. This looked like an interesting game I have never played, I've never owned, and it is a import to boot. And since it's a European import, or European import, it'll work just fine on my PSPs since they are region free even if you don't mod them. And I can actually play it because, well, it's not Japanese, it's actually in English, which is real cool. So this was $20, and spoiler alert, this is one of the items that I got half off on. So I end up paying $10 for Breath of Fire 3 on the PSP. I'm always happy to add new PSP games to my library. Next up, I end up getting Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2, which I was surprised I did not own for the PSP, but I've also never played this. This, after discount, well, not discount, but on clearance, was only $3. So that's why I end up picking it up. Seemed interesting, and $3, great deal. Now, these were also some games I was surprised I did not have, so now at this point I believe I have finished the Ratchet and Clank collection on my PS3. I have all of them. But I end up getting Ratchet and Clank All for One, and it was not on sale, it was $5, but because it was so cheap and it was there, I decided to pick it up. I also got Ratchet and Clank Future, A Crack in Time, for $5. And here, this is actually a game I very much love. I have played it before, I owned it, and I sold it on the 360. So now I have all of the Xbox 360 Dead Space games again, but I end up finding Dead Space on clearance for only $3. This game is great. I think I wasn't really too concerned with getting it back for a while because I had it, I only beat it like once, and then I end up selling it. And I have it on PC, I have it digitally, but just in case I want to play it on the Xbox 360, or now because they're all backwards compatible, if I want to play it on the Xbox One, I can do so easily. So for $3, absolutely worth it for this game. If you've never played this game and you like, something different and not so much action-y, but, a survival horror game, it's great. One big thing a lot of people have complained about, which I can agree with, is as the Dead Space games went on, there was only 3 of them, but as they went on, they got less scary and were just a lot more action-y. Just action, like gross action in space. I really enjoyed Dead Space. I really enjoyed Dead Space 2. Dead Space 3, I still have yet to finish it. It's my own fault, though. Just gotta tell the story here. So I got Dead Space 3 on the Xbox 360, and I played over halfway through it, and then I moved. And I had the save on a flash drive, and I could not, for the love of God, find this flash drive anywhere, and I still remember what it looks like. I could not find it anywhere, and I said, you know what, whenever the flash drive turns up, I'll play it. And because I was in an apartment at the time, and I said, if I cannot find this flash drive by the time I move, I will play Dead Space 3 again from the start. So the entire time I was in that apartment, I did not play Dead Space 3 again. Then I moved apartments, and I still didn't find the flash drive. And I cleared that old apartment out, went to the new apartment, couldn't find the flash drive. So at that point, that was several years ago, I said, okay, well, at this point, I just have to assume that my save is completely gone at this point, because to this day, I think the game came out in 2013. So since 2013, I have been over halfway done with Dead Space 3, and I think I have the achievements on my Xbox 360 profile, but I don't have the save anymore, unfortunately. So I need to go back. What I'm saying is I need to go back. I need to finish it. I just need to start from the beginning and experience it again. But it's one of those things, you know, you like get through a game and you don't really want to go back to it because you're over halfway done and something happens. You lose your save, you lose your patience, your file gets corrupted. Yeah, that's the predicament I'm in, unfortunately. So let's continue on. I also end up getting a PS1 game from there, which is Kingsfield 2. Now, I'm actually looking forward to this for a few different reasons. One, this is actually from Software, the same studio that ended up working on the Dark Souls games, Demon Souls, like the Souls series. So it's one of those games where it's supposed to be difficult, but this is interesting because I've never played Kingsfield 2. I look forward to looking into this from a new perspective, but I told this story one time on an episode of Mod Chat where somebody asked, what is the worst game you've ever played? And my answer was Kingsfield. I said years and years ago, I found Kingsfield at a used game shop. It was like $6 for the long box. I remember that. I took it home. I thought the game was so bad that I took it back and I returned it to this store, and the store, I was really cool with them, and they were like, hey, so we don't typically do this. Like, you can return the game if it doesn't work, but if you just took the game home and you say you don't like it and you're returning it, we can't honor that. But since we know you really well and you've never ever done this before, we'll allow it this time. So that was the first game I ended up returning because I didn't like it. And then years later, like I think like a year or two later, I found out that they were just notoriously bad games. Apparently Kingsfield, Kingsfield 2, Shadow Tower, they were just looked at as, you know, horribly reviewed games. Then years and years later, when Dark Souls became really popular, people started going back to these games, and they said these are actually hidden gems on the PlayStation. Like there's little to no music on there because that's supposed to get you into the atmosphere, and they're punishingly difficult because that's the genre that, you know, the game is. It's a Souls type game. And I remember I thought of me playing the first Kingsfield, and I'm like, no, that is bullshit. That game is just bad. But I'm looking forward to actually giving this a fair shot with fresh eyes, so to speak. I still don't have the first Kingsfield. I've never even seen a copy of Shadow Tower. I believe that's what it's called. But Kingsfield 2, this is $25. This I got half off on it because I went to another store, so I paid $12.50 for this. And the last PS1 game I got was, you can't really see it, but Ridge Racer Revolution. This was only $8. I actually, surprisingly, they had two copies of it. They had this copy, and they had a Japanese import. And I was looking at the both of them, and both of them were $8, and I almost got the import. You all, I almost got it, but I said, no, I'm gonna skip on it. I'm getting the native US version. It'll be in English. It'll be perfectly playable. I'm just gonna get this. I don't really have a reason to get the import copy of it. So those were all the games I got from Half Price Books. Now for the big ticket item here. This is a new console I got. Old but new console, and it looks pretty good, right? Well, I promise you, I did a lot of maintenance to this beforehand. What I actually did was, so let me tell the story of getting the console. I ended up going to a thrift store, a local thrift store, and they were having a 50% off sale. So this console, this PS3 Slim, was originally $60. And this store has a policy. I think they have changed it now. So I think they said that now if electronics don't work, you have 2 days to return them. But for the longest time, they said all sales are final. So it's all sales are final, but as long as you stay within the store, you can use anything available to you within the store to test the electronics before you buy. So I've gotten pretty good at like testing consoles and such and seeing what's going on. And what I did was I took this PS3 and I asked, I was like, hey, do you have a testing station for this? Because it was the PS3 with the cables are not here, but it came with a power cable. So they said, you need to go to the front. So I went to the front, I asked, and the guy was like, oh, we don't have a TV. And I said, oh, that's fine, I don't need a TV. Just give me a power strip. And he's like, oh, okay, that's fine. So I took the PS3, hooked it up to power, ended up turning it on. I will talk about that. But I turned it on. You know, when I hooked up to power, this was red. Now I turned it on, and it beeped, and it went to green, and it stayed green, and it stayed green. And then I could see right here, the hard drive light was blinking and blinking and blinking. And then after about a minute, I pressed the power button again, and it gracefully shut down. And the guy there, as soon as, he was very enthusiastic, which I thought was fun, but when he saw me turned on, he's like, oh, hey, it works. And I was like, yeah, I'm just checking to see that it works, it's not broken. And he was like, well, we don't have a TV. I said, that's fine, I just need to check a few symptoms. And again, it seemed to be just fine. And then I looked at the bottom, and again with the light, I said, oh, okay, that's good, it has a hard drive in it and it's working. And he was like, wait, really? How do you know that? And I said, oh, if you look right here, there's this hard drive activity indicator, and it's flashing orange like a madman, which means there is a hard drive installed in the system, and it is working. And the guy was just like mind blown by that. He's like, whoa, I didn't know that. I had no idea. Like, that's a really good deal, dude. You're getting a really good deal if you're going to get this. And I said, yeah, it works just fine. It turns on. It has a hard drive in there. I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to go ahead and buy this. So that's what I ended up doing. I got this system. Now, when I got home, this was interesting, all right? And maybe somebody else could explain this. So I am going to show you all the condition here, at least on the back. Now, I did clean this up, but if you look right here, this is the only thing I was concerned with. That HDMI it doesn't look the best. Like, this PS3 was not treated the best at its former home. The AV multi-out is fine. I didn't try digital out. The power's fine, but like, look at how many scratches are around the HDMI port. Like, it looks like they were just constantly plugging and unplugging it, and they couldn't ever find the port. And the LAN port is fine. I mean, they probably used wireless on this. But either way, this was what I was most concerned about. I said, the HDMI port might be bad, which if it is, I mean, I have an AV multi-out, that's okay, and you can get up to 1080p out of that. But still, this is concerning me a little bit. And when you plug in an HDMI cable, it is loose. It works just fine. I'm happy to report it works just fine, but it's a little bit loose when you plug in an HDMI cable. But I had some hope with it, because not only it was working, but where is it? Right here, well, it's gone now, but right down here, there should be a sticker, a warranty sticker on this. And the warranty sticker was still there. I was the one that removed it. So that also led me to believe, fantastic, this has never been opened before. Now, this PS3 model is a CECH 3001B, meaning it is a NOR flash system, and unfortunately it cannot be jailbroken. So why did I pick this up? Well, I picked it up because it was cheap and it was working, and you can install PS3 HIN in there. So I figured, you know, I'd have an extra PS3 kicking around, but on top of that, I have found a purpose for this, which I'll get into. But either way, what I did do was, once I confirmed it was working, I took it apart. I ended up cleaning it. I cleaned the cases as best as I could, just with soap and water, let them dry. I had to clean them 2 or 3 times, but I cleaned it up as best as I could. I took off any of the crayon, because they wrote, you know, in crayon here, the price and such, and I ended up repasting this with MX4. And I'm happy to report that I have modified it with PS3 HIN. Within Webman, I have set it up so that if it ever hits, the system should never go above 65 degrees Celsius. And if it does, the fans will dynamically whir up, so that way it will bring the temperature down. And I'm happy to say that since I have cleaned and modified and refurbished this PS3, the fans never kick up in speed, unless I manually manipulate them to go up, or if I play a PS2 game, because I have made it so that when you enter a PS2 game, the fans just automatically kick up. But if I'm just playing a game, or I'm playing a PS1 game, or I'm just sitting in the XMB, this thing does not go above 65 degrees Celsius, which is fantastic. So the other nice thing as well is that it did have a hard drive included in here. and it's a 320 gig hard drive. So free hard drive, fantastic. So for $30, I got a pretty good system working with PS3 HIN installed on it and everything. It works to the best of my ability, and it has a 320 gig drive in there, which is more than enough for what I put on there. I end up putting some like older Super Nintendo games, a bunch of PS1 games, probably about 10 PS3 games on there. I'm pretty happy with it. I didn't put any PS2 stuff on there because I have a backwards compatible PS3 and I have PS2, so that didn't really bug me. But the other thing on here is, it looks like, again, just with the condition, it did not have the best life in a previous house. Like if you look right here at the disk drive bezel, it has scratches all over it. This is loose. This right here is a little bit loose as well. It looks like somebody dropped it here. Now this was my own thing. It had like broken plastic. There was a hole right here, and then the plastic here was broken, and I just ended up taking that off. So that was my own fault. But the rest of it, like, it was like this already. It was, you know, flimsy like this. It looked like somebody dropped the system and then they took a bite out of it. That's how it looked. So I'm actually shocked, especially that the hard drive works, but it's fine. But this is kind of what I want to ask you all about, for anybody who might be a PS3 guru, or for anybody who could speculate on this. There was one thing that was weird. So I hooked up my PS3, and I was worried at first. I hooked up the PS3 to HDMI, and it would not display anything. It actually, no, it displayed a plain black screen. So I turned it off and I said, okay, I have to reset the video settings. And the way you do that is you hold down the power button on the PS3. So when it's off, you hold down the power button until it turns on and turns back off. And then you let go and you turn it on. That's what you do. And that resets the video settings. Then it will bring up a screen in 480p that says, we detected an HDMI cable. Would you like to display through HDMI? And you say yes. And after that, it just did a black screen. And I tried resetting the PS3, it did a black screen again. So I tried to reset the video settings one more time, and long story short, I could only display 480p out of this console through HDMI. So what I did was, I was a little bit concerned, because I was like, HDMI is working, I'm proving it, but it doesn't work past 480p. Until what I did was I factory reset the console. I then booted into recovery mode. I factory reset the console, which ended up formatting the hard drive, reset all the settings on there, and then it booted up regularly. It booted up to a 480p screen. It said, we detected HDMI, do you want to output? And I said yes. And after a few seconds, it came back and it said, detecting 1080p, outputting to 1080p. And it worked. So unfortunately, that is one downside for anybody who might be saying, oh, you might get some free games or a PSN account. I couldn't, because I had no way of accessing the PS3 through normal means, even after resetting the video settings multiple times, which should resolve it. But I could not reset, like I couldn't utilize the PS3 properly until I factory reset it. So I had to wipe the hard drive in the process. But I want to know if anybody might have any ideas or theories on what's going on there, because that was so strange to me. Because right now, and I didn't do any other repairs, all I did was I factory reset the PS3 and that resolved it. But before that, I could not display anything higher than 480p out of the HDMI port. And I can't explain why. So that was the PS3 I ended up getting. I'm very happy with this. And by the way, I did say, you know, I loaded up with games and such. It's modified with PS3 HIN. And this is actually the one console that is in my living room now. And I just kind of put it there in case I ever want to like stream video on it, or if I just want to, you know, play something real quick for 5 or 10 minutes. Part of all this, I don't know, like the whole like the self-quarantine shelter in place thing that's going on right now. And for anybody who might be watching this in the future, this is being recorded while there's like, you know, all the coronavirus, COVID-19 stuff, shelter in place is being recommended and such. That was one of the ideas I had. That was like the first homemaking idea I had, I don't know, since I've been at home. So yep, that's the PS3. So next up, I end up getting some other games as well, and these were all at thrift stores. So I got another PS1 game, one that I've seen many times and I've never ever played or purchased. This is Martian Gothic Unification. It looks interesting. It looks to be in pretty good shape. And I believe this was $3.99. It was no more than that. So I said, okay, you know what? Sure. For a PS1 game, like PS1 and PSP, those are some of my weaknesses. But for a PS1 game I don't own that looks interesting, let's pick it up. Next up, I found a Xbox One game, and this is the game only for Guitar Hero Live. And some people might be asking why I picked this up. Well, one, if I ever want to... So, I have the guitar controller. I actually, funny enough, I have a beta guitar controller for the PS4 version of this, but I've never been able to use it. So I can either pick up the PS4 copy of it at one point, or I can get a guitar for the Xbox One. I'm sure they're pretty cheap. But I end up getting this because, one, you know, it was cheap enough. It ended up being $2.48. So for about $2.50, I end up getting the game only. But the other thing is, if we open it up, it has a copy of Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare in there. So some people might be thinking, okay, now you have a game with the wrong case. Well, not necessarily, because I end up getting Guitar Hero Live with it, and it had Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. And look, I buy all my stuff, but my policy at thrift stores especially is always, if it's in the item, if I find it inside the item I'm buying, it's included in the item. So, for example, like Martian Gothic right here. If the disc inside is Martian Gothic, alright, cool, I'll go ahead and pick it up. If, let's say, I open this up and Persona is in there, which is an expensive game, Persona is in here, that's the wrong disc inside of the wrong case, but it's being sold like that, so I'm going to buy it for, you know, the few dollars that I pick it up. And that's the same thing I do here as well, too. Sometimes I will find games that have, you know, an additional disc or the wrong game in there, the wrong disc, and if it's something I want, I'll go ahead and pick it up. And the same thing with consoles as well, too. I've bought many consoles that have discs inside of them, and my policy, again, is if I buy the hardware and there's an extra thing inside, I can't... It's fine if I'm not charged extra for whatever was stuck in there before, because I'm not going around swapping the cases or doing anything like that. It was donated like this. But yeah, so that's also a good game, by the way, that Garden Warfare. That's actually a really good game. So that's why I said, you know, for $2.48, I can get 2 games. Why not? Next up, I ended up getting this GameCube game right here, Tony Hawk's Underground 2, which I do not own on the GameCube. Unfortunately, the downside to this is that it does not have the manual with it, and the disc is in okay shape. I will need to resurface it, but it should work just fine. But the reason why I picked it up is because it was $2. Next up, I got some other games here. These were the last games I got, but for $4 each, I got a really great condition. This is in super solid shape, and it's complete. A complete, great condition version. Well, aside from, like, that's, you know, broken off, but it's fine. A complete, greatest hits, I guess, but good condition version of Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the PS2 for $4. And Crash Nitro Kart, also for $4, greatest hits version, complete. And here's another one of those examples. I actually forgot about this. If I open it up, hey, the manual is in there, Crash is in there, and there's also memory card in there. And if it's inside of this, and they're selling this whole package for $4, hey, that memory card's included in there. So yeah, I'd say that was good, especially since the memory card might go for like $5 already. But I always try and find those cheap Sony memory cards when I can. And the last couple things I got here were some accessories. This ended up being a Xbox 360 Slim power supply. It does not have the wall, like the cable that goes into the wall, unfortunately, but it's all good. Ended up paying $5 for this at a Savers. And then I end up getting this from another thrift store. This is a really cool Halo Green original Xbox Controller S, and unfortunately it does not have a breakaway on it, which is fine. I can get another breakaway. I need to test this also, but I was able to get this for a bit of a better deal. It was $5, and I brought this up to them. I said, hey, this is $5, but it's missing the breakaway cable. Can you go lower? And they asked, can you do $4? And I said, would you do $3? They said, okay, sure. So, incomplete cable for $3, but, you know, you can spend $1 or $2 on a breakaway, and then there you go. You have your $5 fancy-looking Halo controller. So there we go. Now, I do want to speak to you all a little bit. So this is going to be a little topical again, but right now, the date I'm recording this, you know, near the end of March, and this is going to be going up around mid-April or so. And so far, you know, it's been a great 41 episodes. And for anybody who might be freaking out saying, "Oh no, you're ending Thrifty Gaming Pickups," not necessarily, with a question mark. What I'm saying is, because of the world climate right now, I'm going to have to put this show on hiatus, unfortunately. Now, this has kind of come at a good time. I've actually slowed down on my purchasing and collecting here recently. So this has been like a mass of like a while, actually. It's been like the past like this is like what I picked up the past like 2 months or so. Let's say something like that. I really didn't pick up all too much stuff. I've slowed down on that just because I want to, you know, save a little bit of money. But on top of that as well, too, because of all of this going on, you know, COVID-19, coronavirus, all of that, right now, the thrift stores I go to, I don't even think they're open. And if they are open, it might be curbside or something, because right now, at the time I'm recording this, the only businesses that can be open are essential businesses. And anything that's non-essential, you can operate, but you can't let anyone in your doors. So you got to do online sales, or you got to do curbside pickup, something like that. And I did see when this started happening, the thrift stores started messaging me, and they were saying, we're still open, 50% off everything. But I said no. So I actually purchased, like, the last bit of this, I purchased this like a week before shelter in place and self-quarantining and all that was supposed to be the norm. So because of that, because of the world situation right now, at this moment in time while I'm recording this, I simply can't go out thrifting. I can't. Which is fine, you know, wallet-wise, it's okay. I'm spending less money, that's good. I'm saving, I'm working on stuff at home. But yeah, I just want to be transparent with you all on that, you know. So for anybody also who might be worried and who's all like, "Oh my God, you're going out thrifting at a time like this?" No, I'm not. At the time of recording this, like right now, it's near the end of March, I'm recording this, and all this stuff I end up getting like 2 or 3 weeks ago, the last bit of this. So I haven't been thrifting in at least a few weeks, and you know, I'm going to miss it. Admittedly, I am going to miss it. When it comes back, like this series will come back when it comes back, you know? When I can go out, when I can actually buy stuff, when it's safer to do so, when it makes more sense, when I start, you know, getting a little bit of a pile again here, Thrifty Game Pickups will come back. But until then, we got to put it on a little bit of a hiatus because, you know, coronavirus, COVID-19, I hope everyone is safe who's watching this. And even if you're not watching this, I hope you're safe as well, too. I really hope the best for everyone. I hope everyone's being safe. I hope everyone's being clean. Wash your damn hands. That's what I can say. But it's affecting everyone. It's affecting everything. And Thrifty Gaming Pickups is one of those things that's affected by it, unfortunately. So yeah, that's about it. Anyways, let's go ahead and get Lily for this last part here. But Lily! Come here, Lily! Anyways, this is episode 41 of Thrifty Game Pickups. I really hope you appreciated it and enjoyed it. If you liked it, a like would absolutely be appreciated. And if you disliked it, a dislike is fine as well, too. Lily, come here. But if you disliked it, you are going to make this dog here very, very sad. I said you're going to be sad, Lily.